Hey everyone, it is Velvet. Welcome back to more Persona 3 FES. Last one we climbed Tartarus, this one we're climbing Tartarus. I don't know what else to tell you. So, without further ado, let us continue. Did I pick up the it was Precious Eggs, wasn't it? I think so. Yeah, it was Precious Eggs. Alright, let us continue on. What do you have for us, Fuka? Something's different about the enemies around there. I'll scan ahead. It might take some time, though. Sure thing. So, we only have a couple of explorations left, so let's be real. The rest of the personas in the game are not getting the summaries they deserve. In fact, I don't even think I got through half of them, which is a bit of a miscalculation on my part. I didn't plan this super well, I admit it. I figure, why not just go through the rest of them lightning round style? Where they're from, a cool fact or two, then move on. And rather than covering them in order of acquisition like I did for the rest of the personas, in part because I don't have and won't be getting them all anyway, I'm sorting them roughly by origin. Like everything else I've talked about, if you are interested, do research on your own. Don't just take my own words for everything. I am just some person. I am not an expert. But especially for this, because I'm not being very thorough. I'm just being like, hey, here's a thing, blah, 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 blah. Let's start with Black Frost, actually, because Black Frost is a bit unique in that they are, from what I can tell, an original creation by Atlas. Black Frost is a term in the real world that means cold, like so intense it turns all vegetation black, so that's probably where the English name inspiration came from. But in Japanese, their name is just Jaku Frosto. And the kanji spelling of Jaku means evil. So he's evil Jack Frost. And from there, how about King's Frost, which is moving into more stuff that's existed before, but more pop culture-y. So, as said, King Frost. Megami Tensei Wiki suggests that King Frost comes from a short story by Helen Keller called The Frost King, which is about a King Jack Frost. They also suggest that it could come from the playing cards, how King and Jack are both cards and playing cards. The first option makes sense to me, as King Frost is from the Jack Frost family, so him being inspired by a Jack Frost story rings true. There's Titania, which comes from Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. I've talked about that a bit before with Oberon, because Titania is the queen of the fairies and the wife of Oberon. Fairy queen characters used to be nameless, apparently, and Midsummer thus influenced fairy queen characters from thus forth, causing many of them to take the same name. Alice is obviously inspired by the story Alice in Wonderland, about a girl who falls down a rabbit hole into a fantasy world of talking cards and anthropomorphic animals. You've probably seen the Disney movie or played Kingdom Hearts. Her macabre personality and persona, however, is claimed to come from a folklore story in which a young girl dies and gains like magical power and insanity in death, and would kill, like, misbehaving children in their sleep. Sort of like one of those little folklore tales to try and get your children to behave. What this folklore story is called, though, I could not find, and thus cannot confirm any similarities. Now, Hellbiker, which is very obviously evocative of Ghost Rider, and his Japanese name is Hell's Angel, which is similar to the name of the biker gang, the Hells Angels. In series, he's describes himself as like an angel of hell and holds great anger towards the world. So I would guess that his inspiration came from a mix of both the biker gang and Ghost Rider. Into actual folklore, we have from Polovian Slavic folklore, Chernobog, which means black god, and is a part of a pair of deities alongside Belobog, or white god. Though we know more about Chernobog, who is described as a god of misfortune, whereas Belobog's domain is unclear, but if you consider him an opposite, it would follow he's a god of fortune. There apparently aren't a lot of surviving sources about this, though, and their exact domains and statuses as deities is not agreed on by researchers, and It's unclear if they existed at all within mythology, while others believing that only Chernabog existed. From Australian Aboriginal mythology, there's Yurlingir, or the rainbow snake, known by many different names by different Aboriginal Australian peoples. It's often seen as a creator god. The serpent can bring both prosperity and calamity depending on its mood or if it's been disturbed. Sometimes described as the literal rainbow. It's also typically linked with water and inhabits natural springs, and it's associated with rainbow patterns such as in quartz or in shells. Into the demonology from the Ars Goetia, we have Elagor, the great Duke of Hell, commanding 60 legions of demons. He's known for his foresight and can tell the future of war and of its combatants. He's most often depicted as a knight carrying a lance, also known as Elagos or Abagor. There's Ose, the great president of Hell, commanding 3 legions, usually depicted as a leopard. He can teach men liberal sciences and will give any answers regarding the divine asked of him. He can also cause insanity to anyone by request of the summoner. And then there's Decarabia, the great Marquis of Hell. He commands 30 legions of demons. He's knowledgeable about herbs and precious stones, usually depicted as a pentagram star, but he can transform into both a man and any bird. From Arabian mythology, we have Alilot, the Arabian mother goddess, often equated to the Greek Athena and the Roman Minerva, although unlike those two, she's not really associated with war in any way. She's also heavily associated with lions, and there exists a statue called the Lion of Alilot, which still exists in Palmyra, in Syria, while previously damaged, has now been restored. From the Aztecs, we have Quetzalcoatl. If you've played Final Fantasy, you know Quetzalcoatl, known as the Feathered Serpent, and is one of the major gods in the Aztec pantheon, being responsible for the creation of humanity. He's also considered a winds god, and Quetzalcoatl is also a title given to important priests. In Mesopotamian mythology, we have Kingu, a god in Babylonian mythology specifically. He murdered his father and became the consort of his mother, Tiamat, both of which were later murdered by the god Marduk, who used Kingu's blood in combination with the earth to create humans, and then used Tiamat's body to create the earth and the skies. There's Ubelaris, who doesn't have a lot known about him other than that he's a primordial giant in Hurrian mythology. He appears in the Song of Ulikumi, which is one of the few surviving Hurrian texts. Similar role as the Greek Atlas in that he carries the earth and skies on his back. At one point, a monster also starts to grow on his back, and he just doesn't notice. Just that he occasionally felt uncomfortable with it. The gods tried to ask him to defeat said monster, but he was like, what are you even talking about? There's Pazuzu, a demon and the personification of dangerous wind in ancient Mesopotamia. That said, while being a demon, he repelled other demons and would notably protect mothers. His form was often depicted as a sort of ward to protect the home and scare away both demons and other trespassers. We have Balinese mythology, which has Rangda, the demon queen, often depicted as an old woman. She leads witches and could be seen as a symbol of destruction and infertility, as she is also depicted eating children. She does battle against Barong, who is the king of spirits and is a force of good. He's often depicted as a lion with thick fur, and there's a traditional dance which is meant to represent the conflict between the two. In Celtic, Irish, and Scottish mythology, we have Cuchulainn, a hero, a warrior, and demigod, thought to be an incarnation of the son of the Irish god Lugh. His birth name is Setanta, who later also appears as a persona in the series. He is the subject of a great many folktales, and it was prophesied he'd do many great deeds. He wields the legendary spear Guy Bolg, which was given to him by Scathoth, who is also a famous figure in the same mythologies. She's known as a warrior maid and is a great warrior and the one who trained Cuchulainn among many heroes. Now for Hindu mythology. We're going to start with Ganga, the personification of the sacred river Ganges, and the goddess of purification and forgiveness, firstborn of the Himalayas, sister of Parvati. She's considered a mother goddess. She's one of Vishnu's 3 wives, along with Lakshmi and Sarasvati, and the 3 fought over him, and he just chose not to get involved, causing all 3 of them to curse one another, and Vishnu to eventually choose to take Lakshmi as his only wife. Ganga then comes to marry Shantanu, Also, there's a funny part of her Wikipedia page which describes her as having no destructive or fearsome aspects right next to her trying to drown children. So speaking of Lakshmi, the only of the Tridevi and of Vishnu's wives that we haven't talked about yet, she's the goddess of wealth, fortune, fertility. As stated, she's the one who remains the wife of Vishnu. She serves as an intermediary for Vishnu when he is asked by sinners for forgiveness, with people preferring to speak through her instead of talking to him directly. And of course, Vishnu himself is one of the supreme deities in Hinduism, alongside Brahma and Shiva, known together as the Trimurti. He's thought in some beliefs to have had created and protected the universe. He's also said to have 10 different avatars and incarnations, and though the name of those 10 vary, Rama and Krishna are fairly consistent and are the most popular, however, each with their own individual stories. Another of his avatars is Narasimha, who is the 4th avatar of Vishnu. He's part lion, part man, has 3 eyes, and is said to have ended calamity on Earth. Clearly temporarily, because goddamn. He's the god of both protection and destruction. He defeated the Ashura king Hiranyakashipu, older brother of Hiranyaksha, who had been killed by another avatar of Vishnu prior, Varaha. Moving on to Shiva, who was brought up a bit earlier, is the last of the Trimurti alongside Vishnu and Brahma. Like Vishnu, he's also thought in some beliefs to have created and protected the universe. He's the father of Ganesha and Kartikeya, and is a destroyer of demons. He has a 3rd eye on his forehead that turns that which it sees into ashes when opened. Otherwise, he lives a very hermetic life with his wife Parvati on Mount Kailash. So Ganesha, one of his sons, is the famous elephant deity in Hinduism. You probably recognize him. He's thought to bring good luck, and is a god of arts, sciences, beginnings, and is just generally a benevolent god. There's many stories as to how he got his elephant head. Sometimes he's born with it, sometimes Shiva beheads him and replaces his head. Another is that Shiva thought Ganesha was too beautiful and gave him the head and gut to offset that. He's also multi-armed and can have up to 20 arms. His other son, Kartikeya, brother of Ganesha, is the god of victory and war, also known as Murugan and Skanda. He has particular significance to the people of Tamil Nadu in southern India. He's always depicted as youthful and can have up to 6 heads, but usually only the one. This depiction is due to a weird story about his birth in which he has 6 mothers, all wanting to look after him, and so he grows 5 other heads so he could look at each mother and have them take care of him. He's known for defeating several powerful demons, but is also known as a philosopher and poet, and it's just in general seen as the ideal of masculinity. Brave, powerful, wise. Whew, okay. One shadow near the middle, huh? So, this way. You can win! I believe in you! I do too. A shadow on its own feels much less threatening.
This shadow is a formidable foe. Its arcana is justice.
That it is. This is the world balance.
I'll scan the target.
That's a decent turn order, I guess. I would have preferred Agi go first. Like, Agi go in the place of, Mitsuru or something. But that's fine. So, the world balance. It's another one of them designed to target your weaknesses. It has all the elemental skills, including light and dark. It can drain your spirits. It also has almighty attacks. Plus, it is resistant to all physical attacks. But I guess I should set my tactics first, huh?
Leave it to me. Leave it to me.
And I'll put him on heal support, I guess, for debuffs and stuff. But it has no resistance against electricity. So you know what bullshit strategy I'm using again. Her physical attacks aren't going to do much damage, but let's see how our all-out attacks do. Decently well. They could do better. We're going to relent here so that it can get up and not target our weaknesses. the enemy!
I won't lose.
Secunda is the buff I wanted. Well, I guess it's fine, because it means that the other two won't miss. I was hoping for a Racunda, so we could defeat it a little bit faster, Aki. You know what I'm throwing down?
The enemy's down. Let's finish them. You'll fall by my hand.
But, you Racunda the enemy when you feel like it, Aki. Whenever is okay for you.
I'll have to sit this one out. Careful, the enemy's going to attack.
Don't mess with me.
There we go. That's what we want. Because now we should be able to defeat it in 2 more turns if I had to guess. Because I do think that definitely affects our Thunder Rain damage, and I think it should affect our all-out attack damage as well. Depending, it might even be worth... Let's see, how much damage does that do? Okay, no, it is not worth all-out attacking with Yukari. It won't kill it, and it'll give it a chance to retaliate and, like, weakness chain us. Which, I don't want. I could have set Aki to attack there. Matarunda is not helpful to us, but a Thunder Rain, and now we can just switch to Rush. If we don't kill it with Mitsuru, we will definitely kill it with Yukari.
The enemy's down. Let's finish.
Play lame, win game. Yeah, that's not killing it. You can tell because it's knocking back the people, but there we go.
I made up my mind. I won't lose.
And 1 Megidolon gem, huh? And 4,000 experience. Ooh, very nice. Great job! Only 2 left. It's all up to us. Let's do it! A mysterious voice rings in your head. Thou art I, and I am thou. Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Judgment Arcana. The Nyx Annihilation Team Social Link has reached level 6. Whew. Okay, let's get our item. And let's head back and... Oh, we got another item. We have Balm of Life and Precious Egg. So both HP and SP. Thank you so very much. But yes, let's head back, save, and decide on our next team. So... let's see. I think Yukari stays. I think Akiko is out. We want Aegis, I think. And then I think Mitsuru we replace with Ken? What are all... You have... You will be more on support. Though I guess that's just the fate of a party member in Persona 3. You set them on support unless you need them for something specific. Because his Zeodyne won't be useful for us. But Diorama and Rekarm will, and his spear, most notably. Mitsuru also won't necessarily be a bad choice. What is his armor and endurance like? They're about the same, right? Let's just go with Ken because it's been a while. I don't think whether it's Ken or Mitsuru matters particularly much. Let's just go with him because it has been a bit. However, I will also need a different persona because Odin, I don't think Odin Odin won't help me against this one. Like it will if I do elect break chains. However, I would like something with ice or wind that is generally powerful, but also has physical resistance. If I can get one that keeps Traffery and doesn't bring Ice Break, then I think I can work with that. Or Ice Boost, for that matter. But I would also simply like a higher level persona than this. This is fine, I think. We're gonna be leveling up enough that we'll be able to overwrite that Ice Boost. We'll see what we get from this, but I will also fuse away a bunch of personas to see if we can get something better. Right? That resist elect will also be very useful. No. Yeah, I think I can work with that. At the very least, that'll be our default, but let's see what else we can, like, fuse with personas. This also works just as well. Bringing the resist elect to this also is pretty good. Jotia might be the play here. Who am I fusing? Atropo, Kurama Tengu, and King Frost. Okay. And what is everything I can bring along with? Okay. Nothing from Kurama Tengu matters, I don't think. And nothing from King Frost matters. So the resist electricity, and then maybe a Ma skill. Like a Ma Tarukasha or Ma Auto Masukasha. Either way, resist elect is the requirement here. Wind boost. Resist elect and wind boost are what I want, I think. Yep. Yeah, that'll do it for me, I think. We'll go with that and see what we get out of this. Oh, and we just straight up get null elect out of that, so I didn't need to bother about resist elect. However, this is fine. I'm happy with null elect. Oh, and if we level it up, we can get Magarudyne, can we? How much do we have to level it up for that? That's more time than I'm willing to invest into something that isn't Odin. So this is now our default. Let's see what else we can create from it that isn't Horus, huh? No, nothing. Like, we have 3 combinations here I'm willing, like 4 personas I'm willing to play with. Jatia, Takemi Kazuchi, Titania, and Thor. So let's just, that gives us Odin, or that gives us Pazuzu. No, we won't get a more worth it persona from that. So Thor is off the table, and these two make Throne, which is okay. So yeah, it looks like Jatu is just the one I'm going for here. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. And on that note, I think this is a fine place to end things off. So, thank you so very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving a like and all that. And the next one, we have one more Guardian to face. Well, 2 more, but 1 for the next video. You know how it is. And depending on where Odin gets, we might be able to face the Reaper as well. See you then. And have a fantastic day, alright?